witnesses. Know you not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. When I emulate the world, I make myself the enemy of God. So, the doctrine of the Pharisees and of Herod is the spirit of tradition, which includes looking externally. It's judgment, specifically judging authority. It's emulation, doing the things of the world. It's adultery, breaking covenant with God, because he's no longer my God. And of course, we know it's hypocrisy. It's also idolatry. We won't go and look at the fact that it also includes entrepreneurship. Last Sunday, we studied, the Lord had us study Genesis 11, in which he showed that through entrepreneurship, capitalism was birthed. Through entrepreneurship, operating by your own individual power and might, or even a group of people coming together operating by their own individual power and might, births capitalism. But we're in a country where both of those are prevalent. Entrepreneurship, and of course if entrepreneurship is there, so is capitalism. Just want you to remember that. The next thing is, on the lines of this doctrine, of course, we have sedition, usurping of authority, right? And you just have to read your Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. You see that the Pharisees eventually decided to kill Jesus. He's not the Son of God, we'll kill him. Sedition. But we know there's rebellion, right? By him chastising for their tradition, he's saying you're rebelling against the Word of God. All right? But what I want you to focus on is Mark 8. Mark 8. And you got to get this in because the Lord says it's just for today. So a lot to cover. We got one other set of scriptures, then we can conclude after Mark 8. In Mark 8, let me start reading at verse 34. And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, Whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. But whosoever will save his life shall lose it. But whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel, the same shall save it. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. Now notice the same use of the words, sinful and adulterous generation. In other words, the people who will deny Jesus Christ, the people who will deny God, look to the world. Okay, let me be more specific. The Christians who will deny God will deny him because they follow tradition. They follow what man does. So when time comes for them to confess Jesus, they will deny Jesus. We read it in Luke 21. Man's heart's failing them for fear. Okay, now put all of that in context by going to 1 Samuel chapter 8. Because we're about to enter into a phase of end times that is closer than we believe. 1 Samuel 8. Up to this point in the children of Israel, they have been led by various people, various men of God, whether it be Moses, whether it be Joshua, and so forth. Then we went through a time of judges. And now we have the first prophet who's leading them. This is Samuel. And here's what, and Samuel is getting old, but his sons don't follow Samuel's path. So the people come with a complaint. They don't ask for another prophet. Here's what they ask for. I'm going to start in verse 4 of 1 Samuel 8. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Here's the issue. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. This is called emulation. Do unto us as the world does. But the thing displeased Samuel, when they said, Give us a king to judge us. And Samuel prayed unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Samuel, Hearken unto the voice of the people in all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected thee, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. According to all the works which they have done since the day I brought them up out of Egypt, even unto this day, where they have forsaken me and served other gods, so do they also unto thee. Now, therefore, hearken unto their voice, howbeit yet protest solemnly unto them, and show them the manner of the king that shall reign over them. I should make a note that Tuesday is November 4th. And we will elect the next king of the United States of America. We call him president, but I want you to think king in the same context. We're about to read what that king is going to do. We're about to read what that king, who will be elected on November 4th, is about to do. Let's read. And Samuel told all the words of the Lord unto the people that asked of him a king. And he said, This will be the man of the king that shall reign over you. He shall take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be his horsemen, and some shall run before his chariots. He will appoint him captains over 1,000 and captains over 50s, who will set them to ear his ground, to reap his harvest, to make his instruments of war, and his instruments of his chariots. He will take your daughters to be confectionaries, to be cooks, to be bakers. He will take your fields, your vineyards, your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. Just buy up all your mortgages. He owns your home. Hello? He will take the tenth of your seed. By the way, this is called tax. It's called a tax, a tribute. It's called tax. In other words, he will raise taxes. Hello? He will take a tenth of your seed out of your vineyards and give to your officers and to his servants. He will take your manservants and your maidservants and your goodliest young men and your asses and put them to work. He will take a tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. And ye shall cry out in the day because of your king, your president of the United States, which you should have chosen you, and the Lord will not hear you in that day. Nevertheless, the people refused to obey the voice of Samuel, and they said, Nay, but we will have a king over us, that we may also be like all the nations, and that our king may judge us and go out before us and fight our battles. Saints, it says in Luke 16:15 that that which is highly esteemed among man is an abomination to the Lord. This king, the people are told, this king will raise your taxes. This king will take over what you own. He will own it. And they say, that's fine. They still wanted him. He was the people's choice. He was the people's choice. He was not God's choice. But God, seeing their heart, gave them what they wanted. Again, I tell you, on November 4th, the people's choice will be made the next president of the United States. But he is the people's choice. He is the people's choice. Go to Daniel 11 and we'll conclude. That which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination to the Lord. And I'll also remind you, the Lord told us this way back on February 5th. Way back on February 5th, before anything was decided, he told us Barack Obama would be the next president of the United States. And he also subsequently told us, this is in June 1st, that he would serve 2 terms, and he would do more harm to this country than any other president has before him. In Daniel 11, verse 20, let's read more about this king. Then shall stand up in his estate a raiser of taxes in the glory of the kingdom, but within a few days, 8 years, he shall be destroyed, neither in anger nor in battle. He's to be voted out. Saints of the world, I urge you to read the rest of Daniel 11, because it tells you about the king who comes after him. Saints of God, I urge you to read the rest of Daniel 11, because it tells you who comes after him. Despise not, prophesy.